Hello there, everybody. It is Craig Cobb of tradercobb.com reporting for mickey.com.au, taking you across the top 10 and exactly what it is that I'm seeing at the moment. Well, it's been a very interesting period of time since we last spoke. Indeed, it has. We've seen this move to the downside, which we spoke of last week, a spike down, a spike up, and we remain more or less within this consolidation and also in this cradle zone in what is an overwhelming uptrend right now. Now, the uptrend, it's still there. This is what was important with this bullish candle that was yesterday. You see, what happened was we started to see some momentum roll over, and I actually started to look at this and think, okay, we're looking a little bit more bearish. And I sent out to my subscribers that it was time to start considering trading to the short side. And here's why. If I bring this 4-hour chart up right now, you'll note, we look through here, it was really confused. Not a great deal going on, not a great deal at all. Then the first bit of momentum that we saw was to the downside. And what we actually had was a lower high followed by a lower low. Now that lower low is within this 4-hour trend. The moving averages started to fan out quite nicely, which is what I look for when I'm trading, pulling back into that cradle zone. And we did start to certainly look like the confusion that had been, well, it started to look like the bears were starting to control the momentum of the market. So I did naturally start being open-minded about short trades with some margin. Now, as we obviously see here, we did pop back up, and that is witnessed here by a very strong bullish candle yesterday. One of the things I had noted was that if the only way that this would, still remain somewhat in the realms of possibility that we'll move on to new highs within this trend and do something that we haven't seen since 2017 was if we saw a big bullish candle that basically undid all the gains, all the losses of the prior day. Now, of course, we did see that, and that's really, really positive. But all it's really done is pulled us back into that consolidating range. What's really important now is that we break through 4,000 and push on. The next level will be above here because then we'll have a higher low down here and then another higher high for which we haven't seen, as I say, since 2017. Break up through this level, and once again, we'll have a higher low on the weekly and a higher high, a weekly uptrend. Now, that's quite a positive thing to have, but we've got a long way to go yet. So as we stand on Bitcoin, I want to see the high of this candle taken out and a push on up. We have to wait and see, of course, what happens. Ethereum against the dollar, of course, did something very, very similar. It washed away a lot of the losses. We did see 3 days of sliding to the downside, and it did, in fact, break to a new low. Of course, yesterday, it did push back up and get back into that range once again. Not a very nice chart here for trading, if I'm honest, looking at this 4-hour time frame, but that can change. Moving average is converted over. If it bounces and gives a higher high after a higher low, yeah, I'll certainly be looking for opportunities in the coming days leading into the back end of the week. Unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately because for me, I was long EOS against Bitcoin on a similar trade to this cradle back here. I got stopped out, and then it went on to be well past 1-to-1. That's trading. We don't win them all. But we can see a very strong day yesterday, actually up 16.36%. It was only outdone, I believe, by Litecoin. So a very strong move there again on EOS. I just love the way that this top 10 rejected very, very strongly. For Monero, look, it's still not doing a great deal. It's very sideways, caught in the range, and there's not a great deal to talk about in that regard for Monero. Another one that's pretty average right now is Ripple. Not a great deal going on here. It's been fairly stagnant for the majority of the year, to be fair. Yeah, it did slide, but not massively. There's really been a very low amount of activity on Ripple, and one of my favorite pairs to trade. I just happen to have a very good win-loss ratio on Ripple. It just hasn't been providing me with any options yet. Here's Litecoin. We have seen this push on to new highs within this trend. And in fact, here's a higher low to a higher high. The important level for me is above $50. Where we are at right now, we are above it. You can see there was support running through here. We hit resistance. We held in there. I can actually get rid of that line now. More importantly, we're above the $50 mark. Higher low to higher high. Technically, it is in an uptrend, but it's not very inviting for trading right now. Once again, if I do see a pullback into this $50 mark, I may consider a trade there. More than likely, I'd like to see it push on into a continuation of that upward swing. Bitcoin Cash, another very average looking chart. Of course, it did have a great day yesterday of 7.32%. Actually, sorry, what was Litecoin? It was 14 something, I think. 14.99, just shy of 15%. Very strong move. All of these are holding for the most part. There's nothing that's sliding massively right now. So we're not giving back all the gains that we saw throughout yesterday. It's a good sign early. It is still early in the session, but good nevertheless. Again, very, very sideways here on Bitcoin Cash, not interested at all. On to the biggest performer of the year and into last year as well. If you note the trend from where it was to where it is, we picked up 440, we're now at 1329, and some great trading opportunities along the way. This is against the US dollar tether, trading opportunity for a cradle trade long here. I've been long since back here, but against Bitcoin, and yesterday it actually got onto my watch list for my market view subscribers. You'll see here, I put this out prior to the trade, a little Bitcoin breakout trade. Stop option was here, very strong move. Stop now up around this level if you're to follow the rules. A very powerful move in what has been a real big shining light in the crypto market for the last, well, basically for the year so far. Certainly I've had my most profitable trades on Binance, usually against Bitcoin. A pullback into this cradle zone, yes, I am certainly waiting for that, and I continue to wait to see if I get that. Tron, once again, it did have a nice little pop up. It's had 2 days of rejection of these lows, but it's a pretty ugly looking chart. And finally, Bitcoin SV, very messy, very sideways, and no interest whatsoever. So again, there are great trading opportunities out there, guys. You've got to know what you're looking for. You've got to be patient. And here's the option. Here's the cradle that I took back in the start of, also end of January. And I'll show you the little breakout yesterday based on the 1 hour chart against Bitcoin, very similar to that of dollar tether. I just like the way it had consolidated a bit more, and I had more Bitcoin than I did tether, so I went for this one. Stops up here, very close, still in a really nice trend, and one that I'm going to continue to stalk for opportunities to the upside. So these opportunities, as I say, you've got to keep your wits about you. You've got to know what you're looking for, and if you want to learn more, go to tradercobb.com/free tools. Have a fantastic day, guys. I'll speak to you again next week. Bye for now.